Hello, friend.
Hello, sir. How are you?
We're here again.
Isn't the week gone by quick?
It has.
Don't we sound like an old person now?
I'm feeling a bit of a funky mood today.
As in funky, dancey mood?
No,
or
as in a funky sort of kind of really.
Yeah, but the weather doesn't help, does it? When it's pissing down with rain, it makes you feel pissed off. When the sun's out, you feel a bit chirpier in yourself.
When your sun's out, the guns are out.
Sun's out, guns out.
I don't know. I just feeling like one of those moods. So don't be sort of weirded out if I start
attacking
you names.
Okay.
Although I've got no reason to, because we won the European Cup. We won
did.
The Champions League.
We're going to fire straight into that, are we?
I think so. Let's just get it out the way.
Right.
I'm just going to say, it doesn't feel like it was a non-event.
No, but it was a shit game.
But it was a shit game, and as anybody that knows me knows that I get very emotional about the slightest of things. Greatest Showman.
Yeah.
Those kind of things. There wasn't any on the night. There wasn't any emotion apart from emotional exhaustion and relief.
Your biggest yell was at the penalty at the beginning.
Yeah,
I was sat there obviously with you.
Yeah,
I think, and I genuinely think that changed the game for both teams.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
But well played, well done. I can't even say well played because both teams weren't great.
No,
but you won.
It was the most uncomfortable experience I've had watching a game ever.
Yeah, it's a strange game
because it was that point. There was both teams were playing so badly that it got to the point that, like, I thought to myself, if Tottenham can just turn it on for 10 minutes, we'll be in real trouble. And they just didn't. They just couldn't. I mean, I think,
to be fair, they were saying how hot it was in the stadium. They said it was extraordinarily hot. I think that must have played an effect on it.
And they hadn't played for 3 weeks.
No,
that had an effect.
Yeah, and probably cancelled each other out a bit as well.
Yeah, and I also think, as much as everyone said that Liverpool didn't play well, and they didn't play well in regards to passing, I think as soon as they went 1-0 up, they did what a lot of these great teams do in cup competitions, is they just strangled the other the team. It was like they sat back and said, come on, we've got the best defender in the world, arguably. Break us down.
Yeah.
Come on, now you got to come and try and score against us. And to be fair,
we had a little flurry.
They didn't have a shot on target till the 72nd minute, and then they ended up having 8 shots. Alisson had to make 8 saves.
Yeah, and Lucas come on.
Yeah, well,
and that was another contentious issue.
I said to you, I did say to you that Kane coming on or Kane starting could really backfire, and I think it did.
I wonder why he did it. I mean, Kane is a proven goal scorer. He's one of these people that could have a shit game and be still at the right place at the right time.
Absolutely.
And he will get it in the net.
Absolutely.
But I don't know why he started him. I think if I was Lucas, I'd be well pissed off.
And he was apparently at the end of the game, he this is rumours, but he ripped his runners-up medal and just went down the tunnel and apparently was very pissed off with the manager.
But there was a nice picture today, I haven't got it on me, but of Harry Kane with the Liverpool players in the England squad getting ready for their game, because that's Friday, isn't it? As we record. Thursday,
yeah, tomorrow as we're recording this.
Yeah, so there you are, they're back playing football.
See, this whole thing, I mean, it feels to me like that's the end of the season now.
Yeah.
Yet we've got this whole Nations League. Now, I thought the Nations League was okay, was a good thing, because it gave them friendlies that actually meant something, if you like, and there's a chance for England to win something. They're in the semi-finals.
Yeah.
But it just feels a bit like... It just feels a bit like an anti-climax kind of thing now.
How new is this Nations League?
Well, this is the first one, isn't it?
So it is a brand new one?
Yeah, it started during the last season.
And will this be every year?
I honestly don't know.
What the fuck?
But it has to be going on sort of... I think it's supposed to be taking place of meaningless friendlies.
Right.
Because each of those groups that England were in, and that the top team... Because there was levels of groups, wasn't there?
That's right, yeah.
So, in our group, it was England, Spain, and Croatia. And was it Croatia that finished at the bottom of the group? So they get relegated down to the next level, the level below. And then the team that was top of that particular league goes up to the top league. And then, I suppose then, whenever they do it next, they'll play the 3 games, or what would it be? Yeah, each team plays the same team home and away.
Yeah.
And then the winners of each of that goes into the semi-finals and final. But I can't believe it'll be every year. It can't be.
Can't be, can it?
Because there'll be World Cups and...
Well, you got the
Euros and stuff like that. I mean, of course, with success comes more games. And they were talking about it today because obviously Liverpool now, because they were runners-up, they're in the Charity Shield or the Community Shield, whatever they call it now. They're also in the Super Cup, which I'll be playing at the end of August against Chelsea.
Yeah.
And then they're also in the World Club tournament.
Oh yeah. Of course they are.
Which is in December in Qatar.
Oh fucking hell! And that's going to be really hot.
So that'll be really hot. But then so obviously, and I think that's on for like 3 weeks. That tournament.
So you're going to then have to catch up with your Premier League game.
Exactly. So that is where. They've already announced that Sturridge and Moreno are going to be leaving.
Yeah, I read Sturridge.
So they're going to have to buy some players just to give themselves a big enough squad. Just like
Sturridge is going out on a free. It said in the paper.
His contract runs out end of this month.
Oh right, okay.
Same as Moreno. So.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's not like he plays much anyway.
No, he'll be at
football.
He'll be at Tottenham.
I don't think so. Poch likes the younger player, doesn't he? And then coaches him through. He likes to bring players up and through. He's very much like that.
Yeah.
Although there is rumour of Bale, and he's an oldie, isn't there? So.
Well, he is, but they couldn't afford him. I don't think anybody in the Premier League can afford him apart from Man City.
Possibly Man United when they sell Pogba.
Yeah.
And get rid of Sanchez. Football.
Yeah.
Right,
Why are you saying it like that? Don't you like football?
No, I do, but I like the days when the football season ended, that was it, until about July when you started hearing the transfer newses. So you get newses? I've turned into fucking column. Hello, my precious newsies.
Fat Hobbit hates newsies.
But you used to get your Shoot or Match magazine, and then you'd get more transfer news, I would say probably July, you would start reading about it. You didn't read much throughout. It was always talking about the season that just had, and it felt big. Everything felt big, whereas now everything's just there. So like the Sturridge comes up on your phone, you're like, oh, okay. You're not like...
And can you remember League Ladders?
Yes.
In Shoot.
Yeah.
Fuck. That you knew that the season was starting because you would get these... Like, listen to this, kids. Listen to this.
Yeah.
You used to get these sheets of cardboard that used to have little... They were like lettered T's, weren't they? So you'd have the name of the team at the top with this little tab, and then what you would do is you would get like each division.
It was,
and then you would put the teams in their positions in the league.
Yeah.
But then at the start of the season, you get a brand new set with your magazine Shoot.
It was Shoot, yeah.
With the brand new teams that had been promoted and the ones that had been relegated, and I used to love that.
But that's what I mean. It was,
wasn't that? It's weird because wasn't that football then? As a kid, it was a lot more of a rarity because you had one live match on a season, which was the FA Cup final, which would start at like 10 o'clock on Grandstand or Match of the Day, didn't it? Because was it Grandstand and World of Sport?
Sport, that's it.
And it became an event because you had to sit there, and that was the only live match you see, or maybe a European Cup final if Liverpool. Or Aston Villa or Nottingham Forest were in the European Cup final. But there were never, ever... I can remember Sports Night on a Wednesday that used to maybe have League Cup games on.
But yeah, you never had what was obviously Division 1 then, wasn't it?
Can you... I mean, people these days... No, you're going to say
we
even more
do
like...
So no, we're old.
But kids of today, where they have news 24 hours and sports news 24 hours and sport 24 hours on like 15 channels... To get your midweek sports fix, you used to watch Sports Night on a Wednesday night with Harry Carpenter.
Yeah.
And it used to maybe be an hour long. And in that, you would have boxing, darts, snooker, whatever football highlights there were for that particular night. Or it was crazy.
What was which one had the it's 5 Live now, but the radio when we were younger. They still use the same theme. I can't even remember what
Sports Report.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 6 o'clock and time for Sports Report.
That's right.
And they've used that for probably about
still
50
going
years.
now. But what channel was that? Radio, was it 4?
It must have been.
Or Radio 2?
Well, it might have been Radio 2. I don't know.
I can't remember. But yeah, I always remember my dad coming back from football.
Yeah.
And having a bath and putting the old radio on while he was having a bath.
Yeah. I mean, if we're going to take this this
nostalgia,
this long stroll down nostalgia avenue, then the big sort of change from listening to it on the radio would then be CFAX, and then pressing the update button every so often, because you'd get like pages of text where you have 3 pages of the First Division or Premier League results.
That's it.
That would like flick over every, I don't know what it'd be, every 90 seconds or something like that.
No, it's less than that. I think. It would always feel like a long time, but it was about 60 every minute. It would just update.
And I can remember sitting there like watching whatever we're watching, and you press update, and if the page changed, then the number of the page would come up in the corner of the TV, and you'd go, "Oh my God, have they scored or have we scored? I don't know." Press it, and oh no, it's another team have just scored. I mean, all of this stuff now, you don't realise just how.
And they used to have weird games on there.
They did.
These strange sort of memory and all.
It's just crazy to think that was only 25, 30 years ago.
Because the FA Cup was always on BBC One, wasn't it?
No, it was on ITV as well.
Was it?
Yeah. I think it used to be on both.
I always watched it on BBC.
Because Brian Moore always used to commentate on
didn't he?
Yeah, and it would be John Motson or Barry Davis on...
Motty.
On Motty. But yeah, it used to be... That was their game, but both games... I can remember Match of the Day used to be on a Saturday night, and the big match used to be on a Sunday afternoon.
That's right.
And then there was some kind of rights thing, and then they switched. So like one year it was that, then the following year, the big match was on a Saturday night, and Match of the Day was on Sunday dinner time. It never felt the same.
I can't remember that.
I can always remember watching the big match, and then me and my brother grabbing the football and then running out, because we had a nice big patch of grass just outside our house, and just go and start playing football. That's just one of those moments. And I used to love the football that they used in the league or the Milk Cup final.
That's right.
The white ball
Milk Cup final.
The white ball with the red strip on it. It was just such a simpler time these days.
It was. There wasn't so much going on, though. That's what I mean. So when the season ended in May, you had that couple of months where the footballers went off and became whatever they did, and you didn't hear much. And then July started, and you'd look in the back of your dad's paper and see transfer news in there and things like that, and that's all you had.
That was all you had. And then it just felt like something like a World Cup. Especially if it was like in South America. My first World Cup I can really remember was Argentina in '78.
Right.
And that to me felt like it was on a different planet.
Yeah.
Because like when the commentators commentated, it was, and it's Campers, and he's going, and it was like all fuzzy, like he was doing it through a telephone line.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh my God, they must be like millions of miles away. They must be.
See, the one I remember the best, my first one that I remember the most is the '82 Spain. Like I said, I even had the England kit.
Yeah, no, I did.
Yeah,
I did.
I was bought
because that was the game I'm a massive Kevin Keegan fan.
Yeah,
always have been. Always will.
Was your hair naturally curly then?
No, my hair wasn't. No, but our old chap had a Keegan perm.
Did he?
Yeah. He's always been far more fashionable.
That's what I was going to ask. Did you have a Keegan perm?
No, he did. He had a Keegan perm. He had the George Michael close crop and goatee when that was.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's always been way more fashionable than me. But the '82 was the one where he was injured, if you can remember.
That's right.
And then he came on because they had a weird way of doing the World Cup that year. There was the group stage.
Yeah.
Then it went into a 3-team group stage.
Oh, that's right.
To get into then the semi-finals.
There was no sort of quarterfinals.
No, and then England needed to beat Spain, I think it was, in the last game to go through. And Keegan had that header, and it was 0-0, and he had that header from like 8 yards out that he put wide, and it was the only thing that he sort of did.
Yeah.
And then I think that was he sort of finished with England after that.
Keegan's perm.
Keegan and Brookin, wasn't it? Because they came on.
Yeah.
That's right. Keegan and Brookin both came on because England was struggling.
That's
right.
And
like Brookin, just like Trevor Brookin, just like opened everything up.
Those were the days, my friend.
I tell you, happy days. As much as I love Liverpool, and I love, if you could take how grounds are now and how pitches are now and the professionalism of football and the HD and all of that sort of stuff and transfer that to, I don't know, just to me back in the 70s when I really loved football was the only thing I loved. It was, I just loved and I don't know, if there was a way you could mix the two. Because
but then your nostalgia would change, I think, if you had all that. I know you'd want to see it all and have the option to watching it and you'd be in your element. But then you wouldn't have this nostalgia. It would be just as it is now.
Right. And I think it's also now it's a money game.
Yeah.
It's all about money.
Remember when Alan Shearer signed for Newcastle, wasn't it? And was it Newcastle to Blackburn? Or was it the other way around?
No, he was at Blackburn. He went to Newcastle.
He went to Newcastle, didn't he? And what was that, like 15 million or 20 million? Yeah. And everybody went, it's crazy money.
It can't even be that, no, because...
Rio went from Leeds to Man United for 15, didn't he?
Yeah, but for Newcastle, their top amount that they paid for somebody was something like 15 million. That was Michael Owen until this season. So they've... It's weird how money goes. I can remember the last time Liverpool won the championship, they got 50 grand for winning the championship.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they got 50 grand for that. I can remember that. Now it's in the hundreds of millions. Yeah.
It's all the TV rights, though. So it has done some good for the clubs.
It has, but then everything's about money now.
Yeah, that's
the thing. And I was listening on a podcast today about because obviously in the semi-finals of this National League, whatever it's called, Nations League, we've got Holland,
right?
And they were saying that the reason that, like, they were saying, oh, wouldn't it be great if this Ajax team stayed together? And they said, yeah, but they said there's no way they can compete with, things like the Premier League, because there is no money in Dutch football. Like the way that the football teams don't get paid nowhere near what like Premier League teams do by the Premier League for football rights and things like that.
It's a shame,
just a completely different.
It is.
But it's not football's fault if the Premier League are going to pay $2 billion for a 1.6 billion or whatever it is. The Premier League aren't going to go, no, you're all right, we're not going to take that.
Like we were talking about when we were watching the match, Amazon have now bought rights, haven't they? So I'm not sure, is that international or cup games? I don't think, or is it Premier League?
I don't know. I don't know what
because they've got tennis, haven't they, already on Amazon?
They have,
and golf.
That's my only worry, is it'll end up where you've got to get 3 or 4 streaming services to be able to watch.
Everything will be streaming soon.
I think. I mean, to be honest, if they ended up where like Liverpool TV said we've got exclusive rights of all the Liverpool games, and it was going to cost you $9.99 a month.
Of course you would.
I would do that.
Yeah, I would.
I would do that. And maybe that's where it's going to go. Maybe it's going to go like that. I mean, I don't think it's going to be long before things like the BBC and stuff and television licenses are going to go.
Well, it's hard to justify a TV license, really.
Well, because I mean, apart from the fact I very rarely watch anything on the BBC, I very rarely watch anything on ITV. Everything I watch is on streaming.
Yeah.
Everything I watch is on...
And the occasional Sky show, I suppose, because you like Game of Thrones, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's all stuff that is on demand. And
well, like we've spoken about Disney Plus, that's come in. You've got Apple TV, reading more into that, and they really are putting money into that to try and... So it's all going to be a big competition, isn't it?
But then you also need time to watch all these TV shows.
We do. We do. So you suffer with the same sort of thing as me, right? You said you're in
sticky
a
balls
frumpy mood. Tourettes, where you randomly shout things out.
No, I don't.
Yes,
do that.
you do, because you do it in the car when we're driving. You'll suddenly randomly shout signs out, and I'm like, "What the fuck?"
I wouldn't call that Tourette's.
Well, it's a type of Tourette's. It's what I call the random Tourette's.
Okay, all right.
Because I do it in the shop, and I forget I'm doing it as well. So there'll be customers around, so everyone laughs still because they heard me. Is Bertolli beans? I'd never heard of them before, but I read it.
Aren't they Bolotti beans?
Oh, they might be, but I read it as Bertolli.
Okay.
And I shouted it out really loud and laughed to myself.
All right.
I forgot I was where I was. So my latest one was I'd watched Shrek 3. And there's a bit in it when Prince Charming is talking to the bad guys and he suddenly shouts, "You, frumpy pigskin," instead of Rumpelstiltskin. And I really laugh at that bit every time. Yesterday at work, I forgot to mention to you, what did I do? Pointed at one of my managers and shouted, "You, frumpy pigskin."
And what did he say?
He just looked at me and went, "Sorry?" I went, "No, I was talking to somebody behind. I just remembered the name of Rumpelstiltskin." And he went, "Oh, okay." I thought, "Oh, shit. I'm going to have to rein this in."
Well, I can't say I've ever noticed that either you do it or that I do. I know
that's the thing. I don't think we do. I know the driving one, but we do it. If we hear something funny, people have mentioned it to me, i.e. ex-hosts of the shows and things like that. They've said, you have a random and suddenly what you say. And so the Patoli beans was one that was brought up to me. And then I suddenly twigged to myself that I did the frumpy pigskin.
I can't say I've noticed that.
And I was just thinking, is it cause for alarm? Because I think I must have always done it. I find my mind goes off. So if I'm working away, I'm concentrating on what I'm doing, and then I'm in the flow of doing whatever I'm doing, and then my mind goes, and then I'm suddenly thinking, it takes a while to think what I was thinking about. Do you do that?
Explain that again.
It's a bit like...
my mind wandered off while you were saying it.
You, frumpy pigskin! So... it's a bit like when you stare at something and then you lock in on what you're staring at, but you have no idea what you're staring at and why.
Right, okay.
You know that feeling?
Yeah, I do that with women all the time.
Yeah, but we know what you're staring at.
Oh, that's different.
Yeah, but the same thing is, I do it when I'm working, so I'll start thinking of something, I'll get deep into thought, and then I suddenly come back to reality, and then I've got no idea what I was thinking about, and then later on I think, oh shit, I was thinking about, doing this or doing that, and do you have that?
I normally have it if I'm listening to a podcast, especially if I'm at work, my mind will start wandering, thinking about something else, and obviously then I'm not listening to the podcast, and I've got to rewind it like 5 minutes.
Oh, I've had to do that.
Because my mind is wandering, and you can't do...
Yeah.
You can't sort of... Well, I don't know whether it's possible. It is physically impossible, I don't know, but you can't think about something and listen to something at the same time.
If I read a book, because I love to read before I go to sleep most nights, I can't have music on, I can't have a telly on, I just like to read my book. It used to be the same when I used to have to do my homework. I could never have music on in the background, a TV on. I can only concentrate on that one thing. And if I don't concentrate on it properly, I can't do it properly. So reading a book, if somebody puts music on and starts talking, I might still be reading, but you frumpy pigskin. My mind travels over to what they're doing, but I'm still doing the actions of what I am doing.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, it's all science.
Oh, God. My mind was wandering. Yeah, again, just you saying that.
Well, it's easily done. So we've had some questions.
Easily done.
Easily
done. Okay, then. We've got some questions. Right.
Lovely Stu, friend of the show. And I'm going to have to say, he needs to come in.
That doesn't rhyme.
Stu, friend of the show. I wasn't going for a rhyme.
I thought he was going for Camberwick Green. Stew, Barney McGrew, Cuthbert Dibble Grub.
Oh, Camberwick Green.
Was it Camberwick Green or Trumpton?
Camberwick Green. Yeah, it was that one. Time flies by when you're the driver of a train, speeding down to Trumpton with... Whatever it was.
Whatever it was. We're really going nostalgia-wise, aren't we? No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
All I can remember is the old... diddle-dum. Oh, no.
What's that? That's just random.
That was two things. You had Windy Miller that used to wind the thing up when the credits were going.
That's right.
And then the diddle-a-dum, diddle-a-dum, diddle-a-dum. Wasn't that when it was Pew Pew, Barney McGrew?
Yeah, when they come down the pole.
Down the pole.
Yeah.
So what was the sound with Professor Yaffle when he used to come down from...
He was more of a...
I thought that wasn't that diddle-a-dum, diddle-a-dum. Because he used to come down.
Yes, actually. Yeah, that's the noise. That's the music, wasn't it? Was it Yaffle or
Yaffle? I'm sure it was Yaffle. Professor Yaffle.
So there's only 9 episodes of Bagpuss, which absolutely...
There was.
Gobsmacks me. I thought it was an endless show.
Yeah. Oh,
how thick must we be?
The only one I can remember is the chocolate biscuit one. Do you remember?
No.
The chocolate biscuit, when they used to have they had a chocolate biscuit machine that the mice made. But what it was the same chocolate biscuit that they used to, that the mice would show all this thing. They put flour in, and they go go through all this rigmarole of putting flour in, all the ingredients in, and then they would say, "Oh, it comes through here," and then this little chute and a chocolate biscuit came out, and then they would grab the chocolate biscuit, take it round the back, and then they'd say, "Oh, and here comes another one," but they found out it was the same chocolate biscuit.
I don't remember that. But they always made stuff, didn't they?
That's the only one I can remember.
I used to be scared of Finger Bob.
Oh, Finger Bob.
I used to find that a bit weird. He did one with there was it must have been a tortoise, I suppose, or a turtle where it had the shell.
Right.
Always gave me the creeps. Always. What was
the guy that used to do that? It always looked like he came straight out of the Spanish Inquisition. He just had that thing where like bald head, but like long at the back. Yeah. He just looked like somebody that. Do you confess?
Yeah. Finger pop. So,
do you confess?
You will talk to me, frumpy pigskin. Yes, Stu Grant, friend of the show, wrote in, following the success of the Bohemian Rhapsody movie and with Rocketman being released, which singer or band would you like to see being given the biopic treatment on the big screen? I'm thinking myself Guns N' Roses. So, I've had a think about this.
Okay.
I would like to see Pink Floyd. I think that would be a great one. Why are you laughing at that?
Why? I mean, look,
because
you love Pink Floyd. I know you do.
The music, but their story as a band. So you think they started in the early 60s. Their lead singer went mad.
Okay.
Properly mad.
All
so
right.
he had to leave.
Yeah.
There was all the drugs nearly ripped them apart back then. So they were on that. Dave Gilmour joined the band. They then wrote quite big, quite famous albums. And then they wrote Dark Side of the Moon, which gave them huge success around the world. And then from there, they were allowed to do whatever they wanted. So they decided they were that out of it on drugs to make an album completely using kitchen utensils.
Right.
And stuff like that. So if you read about it, and then through into the 80s, after the success of The Wall, Roger Waters he admits it, became such a dick that he even spat on one of his fans because he just hated him. He became that much of a dick. Left the band. There was all that argument, the court cases. I think it would make for an interesting film.
Okay.
Not just about the music. I just think what they went through as a band, as a whole, would be very interesting.
Okay.
And you?
Bucks Fizz.
Bus crash?
Yeah, the bus crash.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We're building up all the way to the bus crash.
I don't know.
They tried the Beatles, haven't they?
Well, that was. I was thinking the Beatles. Has there been like an absolute sort of like
biopic?
Yeah, let's get together and let's do a proper, like they've done with Queen. Although saying that,
there was a lot missing from the Queen movie, but it was entertaining.
Well, see, I enjoyed it the first time I watched it. I've seen it a couple of times again since, and it doesn't hold up for me. He's great. Yeah. Rami Malek is great as Freddie Mercury.
And the guy who plays Brian May was very good.
It was very good. But as a movie, I think it's too sort of Saturday afternoon TV drama.
It's a TV movie. Yeah, we said this when we came out of the cinema.
It's got all the usual... There's nothing I hate worse than like when you've got a music film that you have like a montage in the studio,
right?
Where there's music going and then people are putting their thumbs up, going yeah, and I hate that. And there's loads of them in Bohemian Rhapsody.
I haven't seen it since the cinema.
Haven't you?
No.
I don't say the Live Aid bit at the end is really, really good.
It does skirt around Freddie a bit, though, doesn't it?
It does. And my wife has seen Rocketman and said it was really, really good, and said that they don't skirt around anything in that. She said it was really good. Taron Egerton was really, really good. I haven't seen it, but it's more of a fantasy movie.
That's right. It's a fantasy musical
than a straight biopic. See, I think if they did a proper Beatles, I mean, whether they did maybe a section of the Beatles, the Yoko Ono years, if you're leading up to the breakup.
If you went, let's say, from 65 to 70, that would be interesting.
I think so.
With no holds barred.
Yeah, and a proper... I mean, the trouble is, you wouldn't probably ever get it, because if Paul McCartney was behind it, it would be more Paul McCartney centric and wouldn't make him out to be maybe the bastard that he was.
Or allegedly was.
Yeah, you do know what I mean? So it's... And to be honest, it's only going to be Paul and Ringo that are going to be involved in it anyway, isn't it? Because they're not going to get Yoko, and it's not going to be a truthful
No.
It wouldn't be a truthful biopic. Oasis maybe could be an interesting one, but then I don't think their story's finished.
No, I don't.
As such.
You got to go back, haven't you? So
maybe
a
an
good
Elvis. A good Elvis. Because that hasn't been done for years. Well, it's surprising that they haven't.
Kurt Russell did it, didn't he? That was John Carpenter's. That was the 70s. I don't think there's been one since. Of course, there was The Doors. That was quite a good film.
Yeah.
Even if you don't like the music, I think the film was well presented.
Yeah. I think it's such hard things to do because you've got to get the person or the people that are playing the people in the band.
Well, they've got to have the characteristics of the person. You don't want somebody that looks identical. It's a bit like what Michael Sheen did when he first came on and was like Brian Clough and then Tony Blair. You knew who they were, but he didn't look anything like him.
Yeah. I mean, again, a Bowie biopic
could be interesting, but that again, would they allow it? Because you want to know the dark stuff that went on.
Yeah.
There's all these alleged stories of him and Mick Jagger and all these sort of things. I'd love to see that.
And I think something like Guns N' Roses, if you've seen the Motley Crue film, you've pretty much seen every sort of rock and roll band. But it's what it would be. It's all sex, drugs and rock and roll.
Motley Crue was a classic one because they really did live that party lifestyle.
And I'm pretty sure that Guns N' Roses did as well. Ozzy Osbourne.
That would be a good one. That would be a good one.
But I think it was like the director of the Motley Crue.
It's the guy that did Jackass, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's Jeff Tremaine.
Yeah,
he was saying that like you've got to be careful because there's so much stuff that like Motley Crue did that if you put in a film, people would say, well, that's way over the top. There's no way that's true.
Exactly.
Like the swimming pool scene in with Ozzy, they was on whatever it was I was listening to. They was asking him, saying, "Well, that didn't happen, did it? You just don't." He said, "No, everything." He said, "If there's one bit in the film that is absolutely true, it's every bit from that swimming pool scene." And you look at that and you think, well, that you couldn't even if you wrote that in a script, people go, "You can't put that in because that's just like stupid."
Yeah.
Yeah, that was absolutely true.
Yeah. Well, if you read Sharon's account of Ozzy, you've got no doubt. She took
no doubt we're there as well.
Don't speak.
Well, I'm just a girl.
That's it. We're out of songs.
Yeah, I don't know anymore.
Shakespeare.
Longfellow.
What goes up a chimney or down a chimney?
Oh, whatever.
Yeah.
I forgot what I was saying.
But yeah, so Ozzy would be a good one. I think if they could do it, because Sharon's biography of it speaks about certain parts of it, obviously not everything.
Yeah.
And she said that, I mean, obviously he even tried to kill her for Christ's sake when he was out of it. The one that made me laugh, and you really need to hear him talk about it, is when she took all of his clothes and got rid of them. So she thought he won't go out because he wasn't allowed into this certain place where he wanted to go without clothes. He tried to go naked and things, and he wasn't allowed. So he just stole one of her dresses and wore it.
Really?
Yeah. For a night out. And
but again, is that something that's going to be so over the top that people aren't going to believe?
But if it's done well...
Well...
I mean, the Jim Morrison one, he was another famous bloke that was obviously addicted with his demons of booze, drugs or whatever. He would consume anything. They made that movie dark. Whereas the Ozzy one, it will have its dark moments.
Would be more of a comedy.
It could be an awesome comedy.
Something like Kurt Cobain, you could imagine, would be a... because it's got obviously got tragedy in it, and it's about the birth of something that grunge music.
You could deal with all sorts then, couldn't you? Because you could have your Red Hot Chili Peppers, your
Pearl Jam, and all that.
Pearl Jam and those lot, and then deal with Kurt Cobain. But yeah, I don't know. That could be quite a depressing one. Could be educational and help with mental illness because he obviously suffered with it, didn't he?
Yeah.
Kurt Cobain.
Yeah.
So that's good. So the other question is, our thoughts on Robert Pattinson actually being confirmed as the next Batman?
I honestly don't know. I honestly don't know how to feel about it.
I was listening to another podcast. They were talking about it in quite some depth. And there was 3 in there that thought they were good. 1 who said not so sure. And the biggest thing is you have to get past his Twilight persona.
Well, I'm not a fan of him as an actor.
He's done some good stuff,
like
though, hasn't he?
Like what?
Map of the Stars. He was really good in that, wasn't he? Not seen it. Yeah. He does a lot of quite edgy stuff.
Well, he's gone down the same sort of route as Daniel Radcliffe, hasn't he?
Yeah.
In the fact that he made his money from Twilight, so
now he can do whatever he likes.
He hasn't got a worry about where his next paycheck's coming from, so he can choose quirky little movies that aren't big budget movies as such. I mean, look, he's got a great chin.
Yeah.
Which is when
he's got the cowl on, he'll look good.
Yeah, it's just whether you could buy him as Bruce Wayne. And he just seems to me to be a bit weedy.
I don't know. I think he's a good actor. I think he'll be all right. It all depends on the script. And saying that, that's what it needs. DC need some good script writers in there.
Yeah.
And that's been the problem. Now, franchises, I watched The Mummy this afternoon, so I've been doing a proper spring clean. Tom Cruise, The Mummy.
All right, okay.
It's dropped on one of the streaming devices, and I watched it. The premise is all right. The script is awful, and the direction is not great. But the premise was quite good.
I didn't mind it as a movie.
It was all right.
I didn't mind it. I thought it had a nice bit of... You could see what they were going for with the whole dark universe.
But it was the script. And then I thought, who wrote it? Do you know who wrote it?
No.
It was that David Koepp, or whatever his name is. Or Koepp, or Koepp.
Oh, right, okay.
Koepp. And I don't actually think he's that great a scriptwriter.
Well, he wrote Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Well, he didn't write the original, did he?
Well, but
the one that
was filmed, he wrote. He also wrote Ghost Town. And directed that, I think, as well.
Yeah, he did. And he did Stir of Echoes, which was a good film. Okay. But he also did, was it The Dark Knight? He wrote that one, didn't he? Or was it Batman Begins?
I thought it was in that David S. Goyer.
Was it?
I don't know. Hang on.
And I know he's done a few of the films. Or was it Blade that David S. Goyer did?
David S. Goyer did Blade, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, and that was great. But I think it's time, because you could see what they were going to do, and then thinking of it, when they set it up, when he's walking through Russell Crowe's... what was it, Dr. Jekyll, whatever, and he's walking through his thing, and you've got hints to like the creature from the Black Lagoon and the vampires and things like that. You thought, yeah, this could be fun. This could be a lot of fun. But yeah, it was just a missed opportunity. And they did all that photo shoot, didn't they? Ready for that dark universe.
They absolutely did.
With Johnny Depp, and who else was in it? Russell Crowe, Tom Cruise was there, and
I think Angelina Jolie, she was Bride of Frankenstein.
Yeah.
So David Koepp, or however you want to say
pronounce it.
I mean, to be honest, as a writer, he's written some. So The Mummy, Inferno.
Have you watched that one?
Angels and Demons.
I
haven't watched Inferno. Ghost Town, Indiana Jones, Zathura, A Space Adventure, War of the Worlds. Secret
but you see,
Window.
War of the Worlds started great, and then it had the worst ending I think I've ever seen in a film.
Spider-Man, the Tobey Maguire original.
Yeah, that was good.
Panic Room, Stir of Echoes, Snake Eyes.
Didn't like that.
Jurassic Park, The Lost World.
Jurassic Park.
Mission Impossible, the first Mission Impossible he wrote.
Tell me what that one's about.
What, the first Mission Impossible? Well, it's about an impossible mission.
It's really confusing, the plot.
But it's
like really addictive to watch, but I get lost. When somebody ever says to me, what's the first one actually, the story of it?
Yeah, Carlito's Way.
Oh, it's a blinder, isn't it?
Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park.
The original Jurassic Park. So he wrote that as well. Death Becomes Her. Bad Influence.
No, I didn't say he was a bad scriptwriter. I think he's made a lot of duff decisions.
But I think he's also he's directed a few as well. So
Stir of Echoes.
He directed Mordecai.
It says it
the
all.
Johnny Depp.
I still haven't seen it.
I actually really enjoyed that, which is so stupid compared to the fact that it had less than 1-star reviews. Everyone really came down. But a star-studded cast, and it reminded me a lot of like Carry On films. It just did. It was just total. Just ridiculousness.
I still haven't watched it. I must watch it at some stage.
Ghost Town he did. Secret Window, Stir of Echoes he directed.
Secret Window was a bit weak.
That was Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's done.
I mean, there's no doubt he's a talented bloke. I'm not putting him that way. I'm just thinking that some of his choices of what he does in films.
Yeah, but he's also in The Lost World, Jurassic Park. And his character name is Unlucky Bastard.
Oh, really?
That's his character name.
Ah, lucky bastard.
You lucky. He's got 10 upcoming projects.
Of course he has.
As well. So he's
rumoured to be doing the next indie film.
Well, that isn't...
listed there.
That isn't listed here, no. There isn't anything... Oh, Bride of Frankenstein. He's writing.
But then that's been on the cards for ages, hasn't
it? That's probably been passed over by a lot of people. A lot of people.
Wasn't there a so who else was in that picture? The Dark Universe. Johnny Depp. I'm trying to think. Russell Crowe. Somebody else. Was Brad Pitt in it? Johnny Depp was going to be the Invisible Man, wasn't he?
I wouldn't have thought Brad Pitt had been in it if Angelina Jolie was in it.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Let's have a look and see if I can... So who have you got?
So we've got Johnny Depp was going to be the Invisible Man. Russell Crowe we already know is Jekyll and Hyde. Tom Cruise was part of the Mummy universe with the woman.
So yeah, you got Russell Crowe. I've got here Russell Crowe, Johnny Depp, Tom Cruise, the woman from the Mummy, and Javier Bardem.
Oh yeah, what was he going to? Who was he going to be?
Was he going to be Frankenstein? I think, maybe.
Or was he going to be Wolfman? They're going to redo that.
No, it was Frankenstein.
Right.
Yeah. So there you go. So but that has now been completely.
Well, it's because the Mummy tanked, didn't it?
Yeah. Although they have said that the Invisible Man, I think, is shooting this year.
What, with Johnny Depp?
I don't think it's Johnny Depp. No.
Because his star power's gone, haven't they? Because they're rebooting Pirates.
They are rebooting Pirates, but without Johnny Depp. But there is now a petition out to get Johnny Depp in the Pirates of the Caribbean 6. So there you go. Tell me how that works. I honestly don't know.
He made his fortune from Pirates.
Oh, yeah. I mean, more money than...
I saw Johnny Depp last year in person.
Oh, yeah, you did. How did he look? Did he look all frail and...
This is what we were led to believe, and no, not at all. But he came out and said he'd lost weight for a film role.
It was a film role, yeah.
Yeah, but no, he looked fine. Absolutely fine. And he sang David Bowie's Heroes.
Did he?
And he had a beautiful voice.
Did he?
Did it really well, yeah. He did it really well.
And you in love with Johnny Depp?
No, not particularly, but I was very close to him, seeing him live.
Were you?
Yeah, we were very close.
Very close to him.
We got very close, very intimate, very quick.
Oh.
So back to Batman then. Do you think a big no-no?
I don't know. I don't know whether I can really be interested in another Batman. They've done it so many times now.
I love Batman as a character.
I love Batman as a character, but they've done it so many times.
It's just that you had Christopher Nolan do it so well, didn't you?
Well, yeah, for 2 of the movies. But Dark Knight Rises was a pile of shit.
Well, it's full of plot holes.
It's fucking shocking. So much so, I'm angry about that movie. I am.
You
I am
see me angry.
Because it was just, none of it made sense. None of it made any sense whatsoever for him as a character.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And that sort of turned me off from watching all of the iteration of Batman.
Mind you, I think The Dark Knight has a weak ending.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it has, really.
But I still think there isn't anybody that's really got Batman 100% right.
I think the very first Tim Burton one was great.
It was okay, yeah, it was all right, but I wouldn't say it was...
That's my favourite Batman movie.
Is it?
Yeah. I've watched that again recently, and it's almost a perfect movie. For me.
Yeah.
It's a great movie.
I don't know. I think I'm still waiting for my perfect Batman movie. The Dark Knight is a good movie.
Yeah.
It is. It is a good movie. Batman Begins is a good movie.
Me and your brother watched that on the IMAX at Waterloo in London.
Right.
And I've never seen anything like it. We actually went first to go and watch I Am Legend on it, just so we could watch the first 10 minutes. First 10 minutes. Just so we went all the way to the IMAX, basically to watch the first 10 minutes, but we sat through I Am Legend.
Right. That was okay.
Which I did when Phantom Menace came out. I went all the way to watch The Prince of Egypt just to watch the trailer at the cinema.
Did you?
The things we do for fandom.
I know. Well, that's what it's all about.
Are you a great what if thinker? Do you your hindsight? Do you
in what way?
So
personally,
we were talking,
or are you talking
personally,
about
just things that have happened through your life? Are you a great thinker of? If I'd have only done that, I'd be...
Oh, well, yeah, you're going to...
Because some people aren't, are they? I've spoken to people about this, and some people just... They say, no, it's happened, and you just got to move on.
Well, they're absolutely right by that.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do.
You can't go back, but...
We can't delve into the quantum realm, and...
I often think to myself, if I ever get that opportunity again, I must do it like that, or I must do this.
I mean... I think you would go mad if you started thinking about things like that. You know, if you'd have gone down that path instead of this path, because it is, isn't it? It's that sliding.
Well, it's hindsight's
thing.
A wonderful thing.
It is, but sometimes it's also something that say you'd constantly be in a funky mood if you thought that I wish I'd done that instead of that. And you know, I constantly, with all the shit that we do, and I constantly wish that I'd have done something at school that could have led me to go on to being in radio or TV or something like that, where you could, that then if you'd have done that, then you wouldn't have the family you have now and stuff like that.
There is all that.
It is all that, and then you.
I just wondered if you were the type of person that did think about that sort of thing. All
the time.
Yeah.
I don't think there'd be anybody that wouldn't.
No, I genuinely think there's people that don't. I do.
What, they're just quite happy with their lot?
Well, they just don't. They're not a what ifs. If only I'd have done that. If only I'd have done that. You know, they'll think about what happened, but talking to them, they genuinely just contented. They just get on.
Yeah. See, I don't know whether there's part of my brain. I don't want to be. I never ever wanted to be one of those people that would come home from work, have my tea, sit in front of the telly for 3 hours, go to bed, come home, get up, go to work, and just do that all the time. I've never understood that. I've always wanted to be somebody that is doing something or creating something, or do you know what I mean? It seems to me to be a waste that if the only thing you've got in your life is going to work. If you love your job, that's different, I suppose, because then you're fulfilled. Yeah,
if you're like a footballer or a movie star.
Or if you've got a job where it's there to pay the bills, and I'm very lucky and I've got a good job with people that have looked after me, which I'll always forever be grateful for them for that. But it's not, you know, it's not, I'm not earning hundreds of thousands of pounds a year or anything. It's a normal wage, probably just under the average wage, or probably quite a lot under the average wage anyway. But I just never understood people that would just come home, watch telly, go to bed, go to work, and just do that. That's why doing things.
I don't know many people that actually do that now. There are a few out there, but not many.
Well, what do you think people are doing then?
No, I don't. There's obviously loads, but people I know personally don't tend to do that.
What do they do then?
Well, they get on and do things with their hobbies. I got, my other friend's very much into sport, so he's always doing his sport. So he finishes work, he goes out and does his pleasures, a bit like we're doing this, which is our pleasures. Actually, I do know somebody. I've just suddenly thought. I've always said to him, I get on well with him, but I always said, don't you want to just do something? He said, no, not really.
Yeah.
No, I'm happy.
But surely the people that are, like you're saying, that there's lots of people there that are content with their lot, then they're the ones that aren't. And I'm not saying it's wrong.
No, there is no. It's not a judgment.
It's not a judgment at all. It's just that I couldn't do that. If I'm sat there and we're just watching mindless shit on TV, after a while I do start getting a little bit antsy. That I think I want to go and.
Well, I struggle now to watch a film or TV. If I put it on in the evening. If I'm not doing something and I put a film on in the evening, I pretty much guarantee I won't see the end of it.
Right.
Which always worries me about going to the cinema in the evening now. Because I don't think, if I was going to go on a school night, I don't think I'd see the end of the movie.
Because you'd just be asleep.
Yeah, I'd fall asleep. And I can't stop it. Do you fall asleep like that?
I went through a phase of going to cinemas and falling asleep quite a bit. I can't remember what film was it. I think it's Batman v Superman. I think I fell asleep in. Wonder Woman. I fell asleep in. It's DC movies.
Yeah, that's obviously what it is.
Maybe that's what it is. Yeah, because I remember I went with my daughter and she gave me a nudge because I must have been snoring or something, and I had another woman sat next to me. I must have been awful. But I think maybe even Bohemian Rhapsody did I fall asleep.
Oh, really? When we all went?
Yeah.
I managed to stay awake for that one.
I think I might have just, drifted off. But
I've actually, so much so that I was thinking, if I go to the theatre, that Friday I went to go and watch Henry V at the local theatre, which was fantastic. Highly recommend it. I was actually worried. I thought, well, this is nearly a 3-hour play. What if I fall asleep?
Did you?
No, it kept me riveted. But
was it 3 hours?
Nearly, yeah.
Oh my God.
It was so good. If something's good, yeah, but you don't think that of a movie, do you?
Well, it depends what movie it is.
No, but if you really like it and you find it really enjoyable.
Well, Avengers didn't feel like 3 hours.
There you go.
All right.
There you go. See. Educate your soul, man.
Oh, you asshole. You got any more questions, or is that it?
That was it. That was the two from Stu. You feel free, if you're listening to this, to send us in questions. Anything you'd like us to talk about.
Where should they send them to?
They should send them to pavoneil.com. No, pavoneil@hotmail.com.
That's it.
So Pavoneil, all one word, lowercase, PAVONEIL @hotmail.com.
That's it. Just to let you know of the different things that we've got coming up.
Exciting.
July 5th to the 7th, I think it is, isn't it?
Minty
It's
Festival.
the Minty Music Festival. If you go to mintyfestival.co.uk for ticket information.
And if you're listening to this right now or before the 16th of June, you could enter our competition. Yeah,
go onto our Facebook page and you will see a video there where we give you the information and also the question where you email pavoneil@hotmail.com with the answer. And so we're going to be there for that. We're going to do some backstage interviews and some bullshit.
Yeah, we'll have a little bit of fun. It'll be a great weekend, and then we've got another great weekend in July.
Well, it's so
it's the end of July.
End of July.
Yeah, 20th and 21st of July.
You'll have to say about the 20th because I won't be there.
Well, there's but I will be taking my son's band there. But there's This Country charity music night, and it says come meet some of the stars. I don't know who's going to be there. You'll have to contact Jerry Watkins for that. But there's a whole night there at the Jubilee Club in Cirencester. And then on the 21st of July, it's football time, governor.
Yeah, we're going to be commentating on a This Country 11 versus Cirencester Legends 11 at Cirencester Football Club. You pay on the door. There's going to be loads of stuff for the kids to do. And that should be a lot of fun as well.
And there's going to be celebrities there?
Celebrities there. Well, we're going to be there.
Well, of course, that's all that matters, really.
And some This Country cast as well, obviously playing as well as doing other things.
Yes.
So that's going to be fun. And also on the 26th of June, we will be on the BBC.
The BBC.
The BBC.
Hello and welcome to Auntie's Radio Time.
So we're going to do. We've been asked to be part of their residency for their evening show. So from 9 till 10, live on the BBC on BBC Radio Gloucestershire. We're going to have an hour of fun. So
it's going to be a lot of fun.
We are going to cause... we just got to make sure we don't swear, but we're going to cause some havoc. So that's going to be fun. You can get that on BBC iPlayer, and also, I'm assuming like digital radio. You can get it on there.
Well, it's the BBC Sounds now.
BBC Sounds app, yes, on the BBC Sounds app.
And
just online, if you just Google BBC Radio Gloucestershire, you'll be able to get the live stream on there, and you'll be able to listen to us on there.
And then August, we have the Phoenix Festival in Cirencester, which is on the August bank holiday weekend. Do please come along to that. It's free.
It is free, and I'm sure we'll be there doing stuff.
We are. We're there with the podcast stage. Fingers crossed. We've got, it's all in motion. So.
Yes. So that'll be good.
That'll be fun.
That'll be good. Let's get this music started, because I think that's it, isn't it?
That is it. It's been a nice chat. We've got a lot off our chests.
We always get lots off our chests. That'll do for us for this week. Please rate and subscribe to the podcast and leave us a message on there. It'd be great. Come and follow us on all our socials at Pavo and Neil. Bye all.
Bye all.